Hey, we're live. We're live now. How are you? We're live now. Oh, I better turn the sound off. There we go. I did. Look who's here. Ada. Hi. Ada's here. How is everyone doing? I'm gonna tell people on the Patreon that I'm live now, and it all worked out. Live, 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 live. High five. High five. We're live. Can you do a high five? No. No high five? Can you fist bump? No. Can you play the recorder? You play it? Yeah? Yeah. Want to play a song together? I see the bad moon rising. I see trouble on the way. I see earthquakes and lightning. I see a bad time today. Well, don't go out tonight. It's bound to take your life. There's a bad moon on the rise. I hear hurricanes are blowing. Oh, you want me to take it? Okay. You want me to read this book to you? Okay, we're going to read this book. The X-Files. Earth children are weird. Then the alien spaceship vanished into the sky, and it was never seen again. The end. That was really scary, Dana. Maybe we should sleep inside the house. Don't be silly, Fox. You know aliens aren't real. But the universe has billions of planets. So is it crazy to think that one other planet might have intelligent life? Here we go again. And if one other planet has a UFO, if one other planet sent a UFO to Earth, oh, Ada. Ada. Ah! It's happening! The aliens are coming! She smiled a little. Sometimes she smiles more. Yeah. That's just the porch light, silly. Can people hear me? Can people see me? Is this working? I saw someone say bad moon. Hi, Simon. Hi, Matt. Hi, Trent. Okay. Dana, Fox, we told you to turn off those flashlights. It's time for bed. You see? No aliens. Oh, hi. Hi.
Hi.
Yeah. But how do you explain that terrifying shadow? It's just Buster. Here, boy. There's a good dog. Ada, what do you see? What do you see? What's the dog say? What's the dog say? What's the dog say? Yeah, that's right. That's right. There's a good dog. I told you there was nothing to worry about. But what could have made that giant footprint? Don't you remember we're getting a new swimming pool? They must have started digging this morning. Digging. Oh, right. I forget. You drinking water? You drinking my water? You drinking my water? All right, I forgot. Ooh, squee. Ooh, squee. Ooh, squee. Ooh. But what's making that awful alien noise? Ooh, squee. Ooh, squee. Ooh, squee. Squee. Ooh, squee. Ooh, it's just an owl in the old tire swing. I guess I do have a really wild imagination.
What's in now?
That's the smartest thing you've said all night. All this talk of UFOs, it's crazy. But what's that? You see that? You see right? What's that? Ada, what's that? She knew it one time. What's that? It's a spaceship. Spaceship. It's a spaceship.
Did it say?
What? I'm sorry, I got carried away. That's okay, Fox. You're still my best friend. Now let's go inside and get some sleep. Wait, did you leave the tent unzipped?
No.
Did you? Did you leave the tent unzipped? Did you leave the tent unzipped?
No.
This is the best book that's been read to me all day. You're welcome, Matt. You're welcome. Probably, Trent said. Simon says no. Okay, well. Ah! Squee. Ooh. Run away, run away, run away! What's all the fuss? Everything okay? Everything's fine. We're going to sleep upstairs. Well, that was a close call. Definitely, but it sounds like they're asleep now. Shwoop, shwoop, shwoop. Earth children are weird. Squee. Now, there are several things about this story that are interesting. One, Dana's parents are aliens. What? Two, Dana and Fox knew each other when they were children? That was never explained in the show. Isn't that amazing? That's amazing, isn't it? Can you play this?
No.
Nope, I'll play it. Yeah. Here you go. Good job, baby girl. Good job. How's everybody doing today? How are you doing today, China?
I'm doing real good. I got a lot of stuff to do though.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too. Always.
I have to clean and do a bunch of laundry.
I have to do a bunch of editing of a video about zero waste.
That's like laundry in a way.
I mean, in a way that it's a thing I have to do.
Yeah, in that way.
Yeah.
No.
What?
It's almost like they were captured by the aliens and turned into small children for the purposes of observation. That's right. Maybe that's what it was. They were turned into small children.
Oh.
Yeah, I guess you could write that into an episode. We should write that episode. Send it to Chris Carter and see if he wants, because they were making new episodes of the X-Files at one point. Are they still? I don't know. Was that just a short thing they did? This is a song I've been trying to learn. I'm still not good at. Did I scratch my forehead? What is that? It's just a weird shadow. It was a terrifying shadow. This intro is hard. I'm screwing it up. On your way to Pittsburgh, New York, for work, though. So this is probably the peak of my day. Is there a Pittsburgh, New York? Sometimes I feel like I don't have a partner. Sometimes I feel like my only friend is the city I live in, the city of angels. Lonely as I am, together we cry. Lyrics. I drive on her streets 'cause she's my companion. I walk through her hills 'cause she knows who I am. She sees my good deeds and she kisses me windy. And I never worry, that is a lie. 'Cause I don't ever wanna feel like I did that day. Take me to the place I love, take me all the way. I don't ever wanna seem I did that day. Take me to the place I love. Take me all the way, yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. Oh, no, oh, yeah, yeah. That's as far as I'm going to go with that one. Some people sent me some questions to answer, and I'm going to go ahead and attempt a little answer there. So, yeah. Trent asked, crazy challenge and punishment videos, daily occurrence at Good Mythical Morning. Arguably how the Vlogbrothers got their start. Never something you seemed into. Discuss. Crazy challenges or punishments. Never something I seemed into. I think at one time I may have done a punishment. I don't know. It's not that interesting to me. I actually look at Good Mythical Morning these days, and it does not look like fun to me at all. Like every day it seems they're just eating weird food, doing these weird challenges, mostly food-based challenges. And that seems like, first of all, like sometimes torture, but sometimes I think I would get bored by doing that same kind of thing every single day. I look at like a lot of shows, a lot of like talk shows, morning shows, nighttime talk shows, and I see that the host's doing the same thing every single day. He comes out there, especially nighttime talk shows, and he delivers these jokes about the news of the day that someone else probably wrote a lot of them, and they just get into this routine that I would be bored by. And I've heard others, actual hosts, say they were bored by. Like Letterman doesn't really have nice things to say about doing that show for so long. And like what Good Mythical Morning does, they're very successful, and I'm impressed by them. But I just don't think I could do that every single day. I mean, I did do videos every single day for a while, and it got kind of old. As far as like punishments, again, that would mean that like I would have to be promising something and then fail to deliver on it. And like usually with the Vlogbrothers, that involves like their length of video if they go over 4 minutes or something. And I think it just kind of gamifies it, which makes it interesting, but for the audience, but it's not, I wouldn't want to set those limits for myself. I'd rather make the video, especially now, make the video as long as I want it to be. If I feel like making it longer, I should make it longer. Why should I be punished for that? You know? And in general, that sounds like interacting with your audience in that way seems like it's not even what people do as much anymore. It's more, it seems like like old YouTube to me. And I think it was more interesting early on because it was a novelty to have internet content and to have such an interaction with an audience, because it was novel and new and fun, but it's not novel anymore. So it seems less fun and less purpose to it. I don't know. Anyway, that's my feelings about that. You also asked, YouTube famous, other YouTubers have had a really hard time with it. Outside of VidCon, have you had to deal with it? Ever had an uncomfortable situation with a beard lover overstepping? You seem comfortable revealing enough that people could overstep. Is it a concern? Not really that concerned. I did in Chicago one time. China and I were leaving our house, and we there was a couple outside. They were going to put a note on my car that was just parked on the street, and then they saw us, started laughing, and said hi. And it was a little weird, but it was also kind of like, this is just funny. And I didn't feel that threatened. Maybe I should. But I've had small incidents like that. Don't really bother me that much. I don't know why. It's just the way I am. And nowadays, I was just telling China this the other day, not the country, my wife. that as far as how famous I am, I feel it's weird. Like, arguably, I am more famous now than I have ever been because I have more subscribers and I have that 10 million view, almost 10 million viewed video, which happened last year. And my channel is more successful now, getting more views now than ever. But I feel less famous now. I feel less famous. I think I felt more excited about fame and about people, an audience across the world seeing the things that I did. I felt more excited about that early on, because wait, I'm going to respond to better and better here. Interaction like this is important. Making it interesting for both you and us is important, but just for the sake of entertainment, not important. Yeah, I guess you could put it that way. I agree. But I feel less famous now, partially because we moved to a less populated place. I'm staying home more often and working at home, and when we go out, we're kind of going out to the same places we always go, and so I'm not interacting with strangers that much these days. Partially, number one. Number two, I think the novelty of, again, early days of YouTube, that kind of thing, having an audience across the world is kind of worn off, and now I feel much less. I feel no interest in the fame aspect of what I do. Like, that used to be exciting. That used to be fun. It used to be cool to be like, yeah, I'm famous. Of course, people like that. You know, that's something. That's a good feeling to know that that what you're doing is relevant enough that people across the world that you don't know like it and watch it. And that still feels good when a stranger comes up to me and says they like what I do. Of course, that feels good. But I don't care about the fame. I truly don't. Now, like, it really doesn't matter. It's empty. It's an empty thing to chase, to care about. I feel much more interested in making something that is good, that people like, that I feel like is quality, that might be good for the world. That to me matters a whole lot more than fame. But I think you're talking more about like people overstepping and, you know, the creepy aspects of fame. That so far hasn't really bothered me, especially now since we moved and we're in a less populated area. And I don't know, just, I don't even feel it in my day to day. I really don't. Like, if I'm going out a lot where there's going to be strangers or a big like event, I might run into someone who knows who I am, but it doesn't happen that often because I don't do that a lot. And it's really not on the forefront of my mind. Really, truly, every day I am not thinking about fame or strangers or anything. I'm just thinking about my job, what I'm supposed to be doing. And it's good. It's a really good place to be. Like, early on, it was really exciting to think about things in that way, but then it kind of gets old, and I feel better now about it. Glad to hear that. I was thinking of Lena and others who got scary stalked. Yeah, that's very unfortunate. Well, with Lena, we're talking about she's the creepy girlfriend meme on Reddit. I've hung out with her several times at like conferences. She's incredibly normal, incredibly cool person. But she got a different kind of fame where she got that Reddit meme fame, which is very unfortunate. Plus, I think women have it worse online. And that's unfortunate. And I don't know. And the thing was, I think, a vlogger in general. If the content you make is more personality based and you're more straightforward and honest and sort of like a daily diary type of thing, you're probably going to have more stalkers. You're going to have people who feel like they know you on a deep level. Whereas what I do kind of keeps a distance because it's usually pretty, well, it used to be very parody and masked in humor. I didn't reveal myself as much. And now it's even less about me and it's more about the topic I'm talking about. So maybe that's why I haven't had to deal with that as much. I don't know. Mark Dowdy said, I met you at the art book tour. Oh yeah, event in Chicago with the Vlogbrother thing. I was definitely worried about overstepping, but it's comforting to know it doesn't bother you. It's a big worry when I meet creators in real life. Well, it can happen, but you weren't overstepping just by saying hi or just, saying you like what I do and you watch my videos. That's not overstepping. Overstepping would be like, hey, can I come to your house or something, Anyway. And then he had one more question. And then I'm going to get to other people's questions. Has home ownership made you feel all grown up? Is that a good thing or a bad thing? It kind of has. Home ownership has kind of made me feel grown up. Partially just the dealing with the lawn, like dealing with actually having a lawn. I've never had a lawn in my adult life, and having to deal with that, even though I'm not dealing with it that well, and my dad is coming over to help all the time. Partially that, and whenever we renovate the kitchen, we're renovating the bathroom and all these other things, kind of feels adult. It feels like we're worrying about things I've never worried about before, never cared about. And I still don't care that much about, but I just want to live in a nice place. And China's the one dealing with most of it. So, and again, I'm kind of not dealing with it, but I still feel a little more adult because of it. But I think more so the reason I feel a little more adult because we have a kid and I'm not going out and doing dumb things and, hanging out with friends, cruising the street, like strolling down the streets of Chicago, going to bar hopping or anything. I'm not doing those things. I'm staying home, watching TV at night, going to bed early with my wife. Less to do with home ownership, more to do with baby having and not being near my friends. Number one. Number two, I moved to near my parents. I lived further away from my parents for most of my life, and we moved back to close to them so Ada could have her grandparents nearby, back to near my hometown, which feels like a very adult thing to do. Based this decision on total practicality. Of course, I love Madison, and if it wasn't for Madison, we probably wouldn't have moved here. But the main reason was an adult reason to just to be good for our baby. So yes, I feel more adult. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? It's just a life thing. I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing. I'm enjoying it. I don't feel bad about it. And okay, hi Esperanza Martinez, how are you? Okay, someone else asked. Will Reese asked, given that it's a spooky time of year, ghost stories, both believed and fictional, would be a fun topic to talk about. And then another question, but let's talk about that. I don't really have much to say about that. Spooky time of year, Halloween. I love Halloween. Wait, before I answer that, Nick asked, let's talk to the chat first. Matt said, I'm very apprehensive about approaching creators I mean, Gail Simone. I met Gail Simone at Fan Expo. I was nervous about approaching her. Saying that you like what someone does, they're always going to welcome that, I'm sure. I mean, maybe there's some very, very shy people out there, but people make things for an audience. They want people to like it. If you tell them they like it, they're always going to welcome that. Just maybe don't hang around so long unless they seem like they want you around. Now that your main channel videos are more pragmatic and intentional, do you ever miss doing the old Wheezy shtick every once in a while? Nick Stanford asked. I think at first I did, and I really don't as much now. I don't really miss it because it feels old. It feels like I've done it. It feels like, because I did do it a lot for a long time. I feel like there's not much else to do in that space for me. Every time I attempt or think about doing something like that, I feel like, I've already done that. It doesn't feel new. It doesn't feel like worn territory. So I don't necessarily miss it. I did kind of do that in a few weeks ago, a Wheezy News video where I did all the puns about, what was it about? Yeah, I don't even remember what it was about. What was it? It was the puns. Someone remembers. Someone here remembers, right? Tell me. Anyways, a back and forth with a clone, and then it ended with me just sitting there by myself with no one around. It's kind of a commentary on how I feel about it, which is it feels a little empty to me. Not that like it has to be. Like there are definitely, I'm proud of everything. I love all the things I did. I'm not saying I regret it, that it's bad, that I'll never do it again. Just don't miss it that much right now. I really don't. I really like what I'm doing now, and I'm trying to search for new things to do. This has actually been going on for like a year and a half now. These kind of videos, starting maybe at the beginning of it starting to feel old to me, and I might have to move on to something else. But yeah, it just feels a little. I mean, it would be nice to get really silly and do like some really silly dumb jokes, but it just doesn't feel as funny to me anymore because it feels old. Comedy has a shelf life. I've always said that comedy has a shelf life. Like there's certain moments where good comedy works, but most comedies, you go back and look at them, unless you're just really nostalgic. You go back and look at them, they're less funny now because it was the context of the time. Some comedies, I think, will remain funny forever. Some really, really brilliant comedies, but a lot of them, they have a shelf life. What was that video a few weeks ago? What was that about? Let's see. Let me see. On Wheezy News. I'm gonna look it up. Wheezy News. I can't believe I forgot. It was Mondays. It was about Mondays. There's a pun on the word Mondays. Ugh, Mondays. Yeah, Mondays. Okay. Anyway, on a more serious note, I started working from home earlier this year, and I've noticed that I'm not spending as much time socializing as I should be. When you first started doing YouTube as a full-time job, did you have any issues with maintaining old relationships and making new ones? Yeah. At first, I definitely, when I started Wheezy Waiter, felt like I was not hanging out with my friends as much. It had less to do with, because when I started Wheezy Waiter, I wasn't doing it full time, but I was hanging out with friends less because I was in my off time working on Wheezy Waiter. So I wasn't, instead of hanging out with friends. And it was the right thing to do because it led to this awesome career that I have now. And then when I went full time and I was working at home, I didn't feel that isolated because I had a lot of online friends, a lot of other people who were doing this that I would interact with online. And I got to see all of my friends outside of work, outside of doing Wheezy Waiter in the evenings. I lived above a bar in Chicago that a lot of people would go hang out at all the time. So that helped. I also had built up a big group of friends over years that had nothing to do with work. This was just friends from college mostly. So I had college friends. I think that really helped. But then over time, now I definitely feel like I hang out with other people very little. I have less interaction. That's mostly because of having a baby, probably, and living farther away from friends. And I miss them, but I'm okay with it because I'm almost 40 and just feel this is the right time to be a homebody. I don't know. It's okay right now. Making new friendships. I mean, I never felt like I needed to. Like I had a good circle of friends to begin with. I think that was part of it. My friends weren't just work friends. So maybe you need to figure out a way to get a circle of friends that have nothing to do with work. Like a board game group or a book club or I don't know, whatever. Find some people outside of work. that have nothing to do with work. I think that's what I've had most of my life, and it's probably been really good for me. And that's partially why I didn't want to move to LA. Like, I didn't want to be surrounded by work all the time. Like, every interaction while working or not working would be about work, because everyone in LA that I would meet would be there for the same reasons, you know? I mean, that's what I think. I don't know for sure. Trent, almost 40 is a time to be a homebody. Almost turning 46. I mean, I'm not saying it's definitely a time to be a homebody. It's just, I feel that way right now. Okay, Moritz. Oh yeah, Moritz's question has to do with the filter bubble on YouTube and YouTube recommendations. 99% of videos of creators I already have seen lately or some time ago, or like a lot of their recommendations are usually that. And they found me through the YouTube video I did. The video I did for YouTube, for the YouTube creator channel about B-roll. That's how they found me. They didn't get recommended my videos otherwise. Am I stuck in this kind of bubble too? What are my thoughts about that? Well, yes. I mean, lately going to YouTube, I'm not watching the people I'm subscribed to that much. The things I'm watching mostly on YouTube now are recommended. I just go with what they recommend, or I don't really go very much. And that's more interesting to me lately, sadly. Like, I'm not as interested in what the people I'm subscribed to are making as much. I'm looking for, because when YouTube recommends me something, it's usually, it's not based on personality, it's not based on creator, it's based on topic. And I'm finding that I'm more interested in topics and content rather than personalities and creators behind things lately, because that's kind of what I'm making. And often when I'm doing that, I'm searching Google I'm doing research on a video and I'm searching Google like for zero waste, what I'm working on now. And then YouTube will recommend me a bunch of zero waste stuff, which is useful. And also I'll find really entertaining things that way. So I do find myself getting into bubbles, but the bubbles change based on the new things I'm researching. And yes, I'm not finding a lot of creators probably. Again, old man, don't really care as much anymore. I'm more interested in the topics. I'm interested less the creators, which is maybe hypocritical because I want you guys to be interested in what I do. But I understand the desire to just watch a good video rather than just see what the creator is up to, because that's kind of how I feel. And that's what I'm trying to make. I'm trying to just make a good video. I don't know. As far as bubbles, I'm glad you found me, and I wish YouTube would recommend me to everyone all the time, because I think everyone will like what I make. But there are millions and millions and millions of people making things. Millions of hours. And kudos to YouTube for even doing as good as they are, because it's so much content. There's no way you're going to know about everything. I'm amazed that it works as well as it does sometimes. I've never really been one to complain about the YouTube system. Maybe you could find an example here or there when I have, but generally, like, who's going to do better? Like, I know you can do. There's obviously problems that we can fix. We can try to fix, and YouTube is slowly trying to fix all of this. That YouTube's like, every time a major controversial problem happens with YouTube and everyone's complaining about it, eventually they stop complaining about it because they fix it. They slowly fix it. It's hard. It's hard to fix. It takes a while, and maybe no one notices. People forget about it. People forget about the problem they had with it. And they don't fix it perfectly. There's still going to be massive problems, of course. But this is millions and millions of people, and they're the only social media that's actually paying people well. They're the only one they have so many partners that get money. And they had to limit that at some point, but it's still way more than anyone else. The fact that it exists at all, the fact that the partner program exists at all is a miracle because it's not happening anywhere else. Facebook is selectively paying some people content for their crappy video system. I don't like Facebook. Twitter doesn't pay anyone. Instagram, I don't think pays anyone, and they might pay some people at the top, but they have massive amounts of viewership and could spread the wealth. It's Facebook again. Who owns Instagram? They don't. YouTube does, and they still do. I still every day I wake up, I think like maybe not every day, but I think like, well, is this the day they're going to get rid of the partner program? Because they could anytime. They could see that no one else is doing it and be like, why are we doing this? And then quit. But they don't. And to me, that's amazing because no one's making them do it. And it's my job. Thank you to YouTube. So, yes, we can complain and we should complain about the things that YouTube gets wrong, especially because they are a company that seems to care to fix it. Google and YouTube. So there you go. Not that I'm all rah go YouTube for everything and always going to be on their side, but we got to recognize how special it is and how much better YouTube is than most other, how much worse they could be and how much better they are than other places online. So yeah, that's my feelings about YouTube recommendations and thought bubble and the whole system in general. Like they've changed their system in ways that have upended my life. Like I was all in on the subscriber system for a long time, and then they kind of made that less important. But I continued to go all in on it for years and kind of ran my channel downward for a long time until I finally decided to do what I'm doing now. And it was frustrating, and I was mad that the subscriber system wasn't working. But looking back, I like this system better. I feel like it's leading to me finding better content and me making better content, more useful content, rather than silliness. Although the silliness and old YouTube is fun, yes, but it was never going to last forever. And I feel like they've transitioned into something that could possibly be better. Mark Dowdy says we must appreciate it and also care enough about it to make it better. That's right. I agree. Here in the UK, there's going to be another general election. YouTube becomes unwatchable because of all the fake news political ads. I may have to go cold turkey for the next few weeks. Yeah, politics is a problem. I think about this pretty often, too, about how it seems like we're more divided than ever and how politics has become so ugly and terrible. And there's so many seemingly bad and bad-intentioned groups out there that are pushing their movement and their bowel movements, as we could call them, into the mainstream. And that is happening a lot. But I wonder, like, are we more divided, and are there more bad movements and bad intentioned people out there? Or do we just know about them more now because of social media? And if it's the case that we just know about them more, I think that's ultimately a good thing. To have open communication, to be more aware of what other people think, I think has to be a good thing, unless we allow these movements to win, which I don't think we will, because there's so much pushback about it as well. There's like an equal amount of or more pushback against the things that we don't like. Maybe that's just the optimist in me, but I think ultimately all this open communication and all this awareness of all the bad out there is ultimately going to be a good thing. Even though it's really, really sucks to be aware of it all the time. So feel like we've had a good talk here today. Same stuff was said when 24 News came out. Yeah, 24 News I feel like is I feel less optimistic about 24-hour news cycle than I do about like being aware of everything because of social media and Twitter and the internet. Because the 24-hour news cycle is less open communication. That's more of a company telling you what to think rather than everyone talking about it. But now that we have social media as well, we can all respond to it. But also, 24-hour news cycle, I feel like it's a lot of filler. Like they're putting a lot of things in there just because they have to fill 24 hours and they're repeating themselves all the time. So I got other thoughts about 24-hour news cycle on TV. But in general, everyone being more aware, I think, is better. Simon says, I think racists feel enabled now. Well, maybe they always did. Maybe they always felt enabled. There were racists. There were always racists. There were always people promoting their hate and making stunts and doing actual racism. At least now we more likely know where they are. I don't know. All the fringes are more enabled. I don't know that they are. Again, they are more able to let us know that they exist. Maybe they're recruiting more people, but maybe not. Maybe we're just aware of it. I don't know. I agree, but in the long run, we'll learn how to squelch it, Mark Dowdy says. Yeah, I think that's what we're doing now. So most of my conversations about this are not talking to someone who's pro-racism or something. Most of my conversations about this are talking to people like you is this about like how we're trying to fight back or how it's terrible that they all exist. So I'm glad we all know that they all exist, Anyway, I think that's about it for today. I'm gonna play you the D chord, and I'm gonna sing goodbye. This is the goodbye song. Goodbye. Thank you guys for your support. This was a pretty serious discussion, but it started with reading a story to my baby, which was awesome. Look out for a new zero waste video sometime in the next few days. And I got to get to editing that. And then the next video will be the 10,000 steps a day video with Jack Conte and Natalie Dawn. Jack Conte, founder of Patreon. He's going to be in that video because they're also attempting along with us. And then what's the next one? Oh, Thanksgiving themed video about being healthy on Thanksgiving. And then a video about sleep. And then I don't know if I have another, I don't think I have the other idea exactly written down yet. I might do another survey video, like where China and I did a survey. We went through a survey together. I do another one. I don't know what that survey will be, but I think that'll be good. Anyway, see you later. Thank you for the support, everybody. Truly, truly, I think we live in a better world than we have before, and I think it's only going to get better. And partially it's because of things like this that exist. Okay, bye.